UN military observer group officials have been seen at a border post in India just a short while ago. UN officials crossed over to Pakistan from the Araspura sector gate. Araspura sector is the only entry and exit point for UN observers, and Pakistan, remember, has been demanding UN probe on the border skirmishes that's led to this heightened tension between the two countries. India so far has rejected Pakistan's demand. It's also opposed any sort of third-party intervention. The dispute, New Delhi, in fact, has strongly condemned the deliberate attempt that is being made by Pakistan to internationalize the entire matter. India, of course, had summoned the Pakistani High Commissioner earlier over the killing of 2 Indian Jawans. Remember, there have been 4 ceasefire violations along the LoC in Jammu and Kashmir this week. India's attempts at normalizing the situation have been stonewalled by Pakistan so far. It hasn't responded to India's offer for a flag meeting either. Observers have crossed over to Pakistan at the Araspura sector. These are independent UN observers. Shiv, who is still with us. Shiv, what does it effectively mean? So UN is carrying out an independent inquiry, even as India talks about that we do not need a third-party intervention or an international body to actually look into the ceasefire violations.
Well, that's correct, Ruchika. The United Nations appears to be at least trying to collect some information. We cannot confirm that they have formally begun a probe in response to the complaint that was lodged by Pakistan a few days ago to probe the January 6th incident where the 9 Maratha, they've got a complaint about the death of one of their soldiers, Nayak Aslam, after there was a crossfire in the Uri sector, not in Mendar. And it is on that complaint that the United Nations may be actually trying to collect some information. Yesterday, when we were driving on some of the roads in Poonch sector near the line of control, we saw several United Nations vehicles actually crossing our vehicle as well, moving up towards the frontiers in Poonch, including in Mendar. We weren't able to actually speak to any of those UN officials, but all of this appears to be an information collection exercise, because why else would United Nations observer vehicles actually be in those frontier areas? Second point, you're absolutely right. This is all part of Pakistan trying to relentlessly internationalize the issue. They've summoned a High Commissioner in Pakistan. They've had a briefing by their Foreign Secretary, for other countries' ambassadors, trying to paint a really bad picture as far as India is concerned and its activities on the line of control. So this is going to be a relentless exercise you're going to see Pakistan engaged in, because on the one hand you've got all this information that they blame on India. They blame everything that's happened, the flare-ups that have happened over the last 5 to 6 days. They completely blame on India, even though the provocations first came from the Pakistan side. So there's a lot of defensive diplomacy that you're seeing from Pakistan, and they desperately need third-party intervention because they know that it's going to be their word against the Indian governments on this one.
Absolutely, and Shiv, that would lead many to ask if our diplomatic offensive has in fact failed. Has India been outwitted by Pakistan? As we see now, UN observers, the initial reports that are coming in, that there are independent observers who already reached the line of control, and in fact they crossed over to Pakistan through Araspura sector, which is the only entry and exit point. Many would actually question the diplomatic offensive that's been launched by India ever since that grave provocation from Pakistan.
That's a very good point. I think you're absolutely right. The diplomatic, the entire diplomatic strategy by India has been extremely faulty from the start. To begin with, there have been extremely soft rhetorical statements that have come out of Delhi ever since this entire issue actually happened. It took a full 12 hours for the Minister of Defense and the Minister of External Affairs to actually react, maybe a little less than that, to react to this entire incident. There was a sense of complacency, a sense of leniency almost in the face of all of this. The strongest words to actually come out of Delhi was, "We will register a protest at the highest levels." But it appears that tactically speaking, on the diplomatic level, Pakistan appears to be calling the shots. They've complained to the United Nations. They've called the ambassadors. They've refused to heed a call by the Indian Army to hold a brigadier level flag meeting. So at this stage, unfortunately, as far as the diplomatic game is concerned, I think you're right. India seems to have lost the plot just a little bit on Pakistan, because here you've you've got a country, that wants to internationalize the issue, because they say bilaterally, you can say what you want, we can say what we want. At the end of the day, it's your word against ours. Let's call in a third party and let them adjudicate on this. And that's why I think we're on a bit of a slippery wicket here, because even though India is sure that the ceasefire violations were conducted by Pakistan and all the information they have, is absolutely accurate, there's a little bit of discomfort about third party intervention, as has always been the case as far as Jammu and Kashmir is concerned. And I think India needs to sort of get a fix on just where it stands as far as this diplomatic game is concerned.